What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is day 13 of all Imperial Beer Theme Month here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers, and they are out of Framingham, Massachusetts, and this is their Tiramisu Framinghammer, the 2024 release. So this is a Baltic Porter, and on the side of the label it says Baltic Porter brewed with coffee, vanilla, and cacao nibs. On the other side of the label it says brewed with lactose. It comes in at 9% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is just under 9 weeks old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Rick, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Rick sent my way. He sent me a lot of cool beer, including all 4 variants from the Pastry Porter variety pack that Jack's Abbey released late last year. So they decided they were going to do 4 different pastry-esque versions of their popular Framinghammer Baltic Porter, and those 4 variants are gingerbread, which I reviewed last week, tiramisu, which I'm reviewing today, fudge brownie, which I'm going to review on Saturday because according to another very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Gregory, that is going to be Baltic Porter Day. I think it's Saturday. Whatever day Baltic Porter Day is, we're going to review the fudge brownie one. I usually don't do that, but since Gregory mentioned it, and I don't review a lot of Baltic Porters, I thought it made perfect sense. And then finally, at the end of the month, I'm going to review the salted caramel variant. So I'm going to review all 4 this month, and I am reviewing them in order of least to most excited. So I started with the gingerbread variant because I thought, you know, a lot of breweries don't do ginger well in beers. Sometimes it dominates, just becomes too much. I was wrong. And I'll tell you when I'm wrong. And I was 100% wrong because that was one of the best gingerbread inspired beers I've ever had. I don't know how Jack's Abbey did it. I gave it a 4.6 out of 5. It was immaculate. So the other 3 variants are going to have some big shoes to fill because I can't picture them being as good as that one, but that's what we're here for. And Rick said that was his least favorite of the bunch, but he sent all 4 of these because he thought they were extremely well done. And based on that gingerbread one, he is not wrong. So they have a spiel here on the side. It says brewed with, like I said, lactose, roasted malt, step infusion mash. Savor the decadence of Tiramisu Framinghammer, an Imperial Baltic Porter that's pure dessert indulgence. This lager is a luxurious blend of espresso, creamy richness, and biscuit sweetness. Immerse yourself in the opulence of flavors and elevate your lager experience. Naturally carbonated. So yeah, that gingerbread was awesome. I like me some tiramisu. The last tiramisu beer that I reviewed was Southern Tier's tiramisu. Pretty good. Didn't exactly nail tiramisu, but they did a pretty good job. This, I'm excited. So we're going to give it a pour here into the Trillium glass. I'm using the Trillium glass for all of the reviews of these Framinghammer beers because I want to keep them consistent as far as like the shape of the glass and everything. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Like I said, Rick said the gingerbread one was his least favorite of the bunch, so we'll see if that's the case for me. But that looks like beautiful. That's a beautiful dark beer. You can call it Baltic Porter, stout, whatever. It's more of a dark brown. When I hold it up to light, it has a little bit like a darker brown tinge here. Had about a finger of a super creamy, velvety, smooth looking head that was basically like mocha colored. On camera, it's probably gonna look pitch black. It looks nice. A little bit of alcohol legs around the rim of the glass here. Like, you know, if I swirl it up here, it like kind of coats the sides. I wouldn't say sheets, I'd say more legs. But yeah, that looks beautiful. Anyway, let's get a nose. Okay. I don't know how they're doing this. They're actually brewing it with adjuncts as opposed to just saying natural flavors. So there's coffee, there's vanilla, there's cacao nibs. They do add the lactose. Hashtag no way Jose. Jose. Shout out to Joe over at Joe's Arcade. Dude, it smells like there's a piece of tiramisu in front of me. Getting that biscuity kind of like, what is it like? I forget exactly like the whole how tiramisu is constructed. It's like ladyfingers, I think dipped in coffee. They have mascarpone, which is like that, the cream cheese that they use. Obviously cocoa powder, but this smells like a cakey, biscuity kind of like mocha dessert. Like again, so the ladyfinger dipped in coffee, right? Cocoa powder, sure. It almost has a cream cheese vibe. Like I always say how much I love carrot cake because of the cream cheese kind of frosting. That's kind of what I'm getting in here. The coffee has this like nice medium roasted kind of intensity. I wouldn't say necessarily espresso like they said, but it's noticeable. And then now the chocolate's turning into more of like a sweeter, like dark chocolate, like a Hershey's special dark chocolate. So a sweeter version of a dark chocolate as opposed to like a, I like to say like anywhere between like a 40 to 80% cacao bar. It's more of like a sweeter dark chocolate. There's a touch of like a roasted kind of malt quality. Maybe a little bit of fruitiness, like a cherry or maybe like a, it has almost like a slight raisin thing going on. Now as it opens up, it just started to smell like a straight up tiramisu or some kind of like coffee chocolate dessert. That's what kind of what it smells like. Like almost if you had like a mocha flavored drink of some sort. This smells awesome. Like this is right in my wheelhouse. It smells probably just, it's not surprising me as much as the gingerbread one. The visceral reaction to that one was, holy crap, I can't believe this smells like a gingerbread / molasses cookie, and then it tasted like one, because so many breweries, as I mentioned earlier, they'll do ginger wrong, like in my opinion. Like there'll be too much ginger or not enough ginger. That was a perfect level of ginger, and then the rest of the characteristics. Same thing's happening here. Perfect level of the coffee, of the chocolate, of the vanilla, the biscuity kind of cakey nature to it. Like it's perfectly balanced in the nose. It doesn't smell sweet and dessert-esque. Yes, they called this the Pastry Porter pack. Clearly, they're going for a pastry-esque version of all of Framinghammer. So I'm okay with it, but I'm surprised at how vibrant, intense these the aromatics are just through the roof for both of these beers. I can't wait to get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Rich. I hope this is just as delicious as the gingerbread variant. It is not. Let's just say that. It is not. It's damn good. Off that first sip, damn good. Something about the gingerbread variant just did it for me. Like, it just did. Don't get me wrong. Off of these first two sips, I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. This is delicious. It's just, the nose was better. And then again, I'm always going to compare these to the other variants because I'm reviewing the entire pack this month. The gingerbread one is substantially better than this off the first two sips, but that's why you got to review them. So let's go body mouthfeel. Body, a little bit thin on this one. I'd say it's like medium, maybe a touch over medium. Again, it is a Baltic Porter. It is a lager. So I get that, but it is a little bit thin. A little bit thinner than the gingerbread, if I'm remembering correctly. So a little bit thin. The mouthfeel is nice, though. Again, it has this cleanness to it. It's hard to explain how a pastry porter can be clean, but since it's a lager, it has a cleanness to it. It's also very crisp. Has like a moderate carbonation, which I think works well. Not really like super overly like creamy or anything. There's a nice smoothness. Body mouthfeel are good. Body's a bit thin, and the mouthfeel isn't necessarily like spectacular, but it's good. The taste, it's tiramisu, it really is. I think the coffee in this is a little bit, for me, a little bit more intense than I was thinking based on the nose. In the nose, everything was just cohesive, blended together, had a perfect harmony. The taste, though, for this one, it drinks more of like a coffee version of Framinghammer with accentuations of chocolate and vanilla, where I would have liked them all to be very present in the taste, and the coffee's leading the way. So up front, it has this like roasted malt into like a medium roasted coffee. Continues on. It's not really sweet, dark chocolate, which isn't exactly what they use for tiramisu. It's like a cocoa powder. It does have like a little cocoa powder kind of like drying kind of sensation to the chocolate. And then there's like an underlying like vanilla tinge. Not really getting any dark fruits like I was getting in the nose. It's really just coffee, chocolate, vanilla with some roasted malt. It finishes very dry. This is almost bone dry with a mild bitterness. It definitely leans sweet, but there's enough dryness to kind of try to balance it out. I'd say this is 60-40 sweetness to dryness. The beauty about these beers, they hide the alcohol incredibly well. I could not tell you this is 9%. The body's thinner. There is almost no alcohol detection anywhere, including my chest. There's a very slight warming. There's nothing on the palate. This is deceptive. As if you told me this was like 6.5%, 7%, I'd be like, yeah, no, I was gonna guess 7. I would guess like 7 doing this blind. The fact that it's 9 is kind of crazy, as I just bit my lip for no reason other than I have problems living my life as a whole. Yeah, this is good to very good, where that gingerbread one was great to almost elite and almost world class. I just think for me, the nose was, again, very well balanced. Like, it had all three of the adjuncts working together, and in the taste it's a little bit more disjointed, and the coffee just jumps in front of everything else, which is fine. I would say if you like coffee porters or darker coffee beers, this would be more your jam. I do like them. I guess I'm kind of bummed out because I was thinking the tiramisu would be like in the Baltic Porter. Just you took the dessert itself and just stuffed it into a Baltic Porter, because that's what that gingerbread one was like. It's like someone took a Baltic Porter and just stuffed a gingerbread / molasses cookie into my beer, and I couldn't tell the difference. I can tell the difference here. This drink's more like a beer. So if you're somebody who buys the Pastry Porter pack thinking it's gonna taste more like a straight on beer, this is for you. I love it. I mean, I love classic styles. Like, give me a regular Baltic Porter every day of the week. But if you're going to call something a Tiramisu Framinghammer, Tiramisu Baltic Porter, I want more tiramisu than what I'm getting in the taste, if that makes any sense. It's still a quality beer. I'm still really enjoying it. The positives: hides the alcohol extremely well. Very easy to drink. It's a clean, almost crisp beer in the mouth, which is wild to say for something that's 9%. It's just the body's a bit thin, and the tiramisu flavor isn't necessarily present in the glass as much as it was in the nose. But I'm still really digging this one. Like, you would think like I'm going to give this like a 3 out of 5 or something. No, I'm still going to give it a really nice score. But considering I gave the gingerbread one a 4.6, this is going to get substantially lower. So Framinghammer, they say Framinghammer tiramisu, but if you look how it's listed on their website and everything, it's whatever the pastry they're trying to replicate Framinghammer. So this is, even though it says Framinghammer tiramisu, it's Tiramisu Framinghammer, the 2024 release. I'm going to give this a high 4 to 5, go 4.1. It's probably the best I can do. And again, if you're somebody who maybe absolutely just adores like coffee beers, I feel like this one would be more in your wheelhouse. For me, I was looking for that tiramisu flavor in the taste, and it really didn't deliver it spot on, but it's still really nice. Like, I can't sit here and tell you it's not. However, I know Rick enjoyed all of them to varying degrees. He said they were all fantastic, hence why I sent them. And I think I want to say, I wish I probably should have looked what he gave him on tap, but I think he gave this one a 4.5 on tap. So he likes this one a lot more than me. And, Rick and I don't differ a lot on our opinions and beers, but I always say, even if you have a beer friend who agrees with you the vast majority of the time, usually 10-20% of the time you'll differ. So for every 10 beers, 1 or 2 will be something you disagree on. And I think with this beer, Rick liked it substantially more than I did, but I still enjoy it. So I gave it a 4.1, he gave it a 4.5. I don't think that's an absolutely crazy difference, but he definitely liked this one a little bit more than I did. Price point availability, I talked about in the last one, $27 to $30 a 12 pack, depending on where you shop. I think Rick said he paid $28 for the 12 pack. Listen, that might seem like a lot, like even $30. $30 for a 12 pack of beer. They're all 9%. They're all pastry Baltic Porters. You're talking about paying like $2.50 for a can of everything. So like, that's fine. Like, if you saw this as a single for $2.50, 9%, those 3 adjuncts, yes, Baltic Porter all day long. So I think the price point is fantastic. And then the availability, wherever you see Jack's Abbey, you might see this one, or you should see it. You might not. I know that viewer of the channel, Chaz, him and I always talk distro. I think he said this didn't show up by him, but then like across the border in Massachusetts, a place there has it. I would say if you get most of Jack's Abbey stuff, this should show up, but it's not a guarantee. I've seen this at a couple places. I've seen this at the Wegmans grocery stores. I've seen it at a couple other beer stores. But I don't know if these are still on the shelves by the time you see these reviews. They released this a couple months ago. But if you do see them hanging out, or you just see them as singles, give them a go. I think they're fun, especially since the gingerbread one was fantastic. This is pretty good, and I can't wait for the fudge brownie and the salted caramel versions. I think those are going to be my favorite of the bunch. So if you've had this one before, or any of the pastry porter beers in their variety pack, let me know. I'm really excited about the last 2. This is a good one, 4.1 out of 5, but not my favorite. Sorry I didn't like it as much as you, Rick, but as we have always discussed, you and I, it is what it is, and it's fun trying them. It's fun reviewing them, and that's what beer tubing is all about, but that's what the beer community is all about, sharing beers, discussing them. That's why I always say, please post a comment in the comment section, because that's what I like about being a beer tuber, is like the back and forth, having discussions. a handful of people, more so, like probably a good 10 to 12 people I talk to on a consistent, almost daily basis on Instagram about beer because they found my beer tubing channel and then we just started talking about beer. That's the beauty about it. So if you can post a comment in the comment section, I will reply. I reply to 99.9% of the comments I get, unless they're like troll comments that are stupid, or if there's bots. There's a lot of bots out there. I don't reply to them. I just quickly delete them. So I'm going to shut this one down. Check back. I think, like I said, Saturday should be the, I think it's the, I want to say it's the 18th, which is Saturday, but it should be, and we'll do the fudge brownie one. Anyway, shutting down this incredibly long review to the next one. Cheers. Thanks again, Rick.